Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video of where I had possibly the worst experience with that Zaza I have ever had. Anyway, this is for educational purposes and entertainment purposes only, so don't recreate anything in this video. And let's get into it. So to start out, it was a just a regular day, chilling at the crib, and my homie, let's call him Bob. My homie Bob calls me up, and he's like, "Yo, what's good? We're trying to have a sleepover at Billy's house." And I'm like, "All right, bet." So you already know it's about to get lit if we're at Billy's house, but Billy's house is about dirty as so this shit is about to be a terrible sleepover. I'm about to get no sleep. His cat's about to have shit all over the floor, and it's about to be terrible. So everyone knows in my friend group that Billy's dad is a scary ass man. I mean, we witnessed this guy smack the shit out of my friend for coming home too late. So there's not much we haven't been prepared for at this point. And so that kind of gives you context for this whole anxiety trip that I kind of went on. So on this specific day, previous to this point, this was like a few years, nah, this was like a year ago. So like previous to this point, I hadn't really been smoking that grass before. I wasn't really a dabbler at this point in time. So, maybe I had done it like twice or so. I think it was like three times before that. Anyway, the point is I hadn't really been super high before, and I'm inexperienced. So keep that in the back of your head for this. Anyway, your boy decided it would be a great fucking idea to smoke some grass with the homie Bob and Billy. And of course, we got a couple other of my homies, which I mean, I'm not gonna name drop until later videos in case they're not okay with it. But right now, we're keeping it anonymous. So, anyway, there's probably like one, two, three, four, probably like five of us there. Cause yeah, around five of us there, and so that should give you enough um background. Anyway, we get to Billy's house, and my parents drop me off, whatever. And we get there, and my homie Bob whips out the most homemade ghetto cart I've ever seen. Now, at this point, I didn't know it was like homemade or ghetto because I didn't really know nothing. So, like, to me, it was just like, oh, that's just a cart. I didn't really know carts look like that. So I was like, fuck it, bro. And if something already looks off about it, especially when you're doing it with like drugs and things like that, just don't do it. Like, you just don't do it. It's not worth it. One, for your health, and two, for your safety. Just don't be me. Don't be this stupid kid that I was. Anyway, he whips that shit out, and I'm like, bro, it, we're getting lit tonight. And so here is where it starts going downhill. It gets to the point where we're about to light up. We're about to go spark. We're about to go smoke some Zaza. So, we go outside, and my other friends, like Billy, John, and Javier, they didn't want to come outside. No, 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 no. They're staring their little pretty asses inside playing the game. So, me and Bob, we take our asses outside, and he shows me he ain't got no battery for it. I'm like, what the how are you finna smoke it then? And he was like, we're gonna use the wire method, the trap wire method. I was like, oh no. At this point, I didn't even know what the trap wire method was, but I already knew that shit sounded sketchy. But I was like, get bro. So we go outside, and Bob, he asked for a goddamn laptop. I'm like, what the do you need a laptop for? Homie Bob over here needed it to plug his trap wire into so he could get this shit to spark up. What? You need a goddamn laptop to heat up the goddamn cart? Hell no, we're not doing that. So whatever. I'm just stupid as so even with all these in my brain going hell nah, I'm still smoking that shit. So we go outside, and he finally gets that shit working. Like he's shoving the red wire like up into the back of it because you had to take it out. You had to take the screw part off of it, and oh my, it was so weird. And he would heat it up, and he actually smoked it. I was like, no fucking way, and it was a fat cloud, and I was like, holy shit, there's no way you just smoked that. So then I tried it. It took me a couple tries because it's a little bit finagling that you got to do. Loki burns your hands too. And I actually got it to rip. Now at this point, I was like barely taking big rips, so like I took 3 outside, and Bob was tweaking, so like we we had to go back inside after a while because Bob over here was rocking like a child back and forth on the steps, smacking his head, going, "Holy shit, what the?" He was like, "My head feels light as shit right now. Like, help me out, bro." So I was like, "All right, bet. We're going back inside. I don't feel nothing." So I take him back inside. Then he's downstairs and he's faded in a hoe. Oh, he's over here munching on some goddamn chips. You know, casual high person activities because he was experienced. I wasn't. So then none of my other friends were really experienced with either. So like I just kind of had to figure it out on my own, and I wanted to get high. So like I had to plug in the goddamn USB thing to this like port next to his basement bed, and I was sitting there with it for like I don't even know, an hour. At this point it was like 1 in the morning, and I was still shoving the wires up there trying to get it to hit, and I finally got one hit out of it. And I was like, bro, how am I not even coughing? I've done this before, so I already knew something was up. So I go upstairs, and each time you had to do it, like the disc would, or like zaza juice, or I don't know what you can call it on YouTube, so I'll just call it grass juice, would start dripping out of the goddamn bottom of the cartridge, and it would just get all over my hands and the wires, and I would have to continuously clean it off over and over again. It was so annoying. And finally, after I think 2 hours of cleaning it off and getting it, I got a fat ass rip because this time I was like, I'm not pussing out after all this finagling. I took that rip. Holy shit. Immediately after taking the rip, I started coughing my brains out. His parents were asleep and they're strict as hell, so I had to shut the fuck up. So I ran my ass upstairs, feeling like I was about to pass out. I ran outside, I shut the door, and I sat outside on his porch coughing, hands and knees, with my head on the ground, drooling. My snot coming out of my nose. My eyes were watering like my eyes were watering like I could literally feel the tears running down my eyes from how much I was coughing. And I sat there coughing and coughing. They came out to check on me, and then they just kind of looked at me and were like, "Oh, no, I'm not dealing with that," and went back inside. Elf friends. the So I'm out there dying, and then they go back inside to go eat some food. Like, what is this shit? Help me out. Anyway, I'm still coughing, and I'm finally finished up coughing, and I looked at my clock. Goddamn 3:30 in the morning. I've been out there coughing for half an hour. So I'm finally back inside, and as I'm walking downstairs, I shit you not, it felt like I was like drunk. I didn't know. Did I just smoke shrooms? Like, excuse me? Was that cart laced? Did I just hit the Fent cart? Like, I was tweaking balls, and I'm walking down these stairs, and I can feel my body about to fall over. Like I was spinning, my head was spinning in circles. And this is when I knew I was about to green out. I was panicking. So I couldn't stop myself because at this point, your boy's inexperienced. I don't know how to stop the mental aspect of it. So I was tweaking. My head was spinning in circles. I couldn't like barely get my thoughts together. So my friend Javier at this point, W Mans, he actually cared, he wasn't being a jackass. So he took me over to the bed and he laid me down. And he got me like water and shit and like some food. But like I didn't want to eat cuz I felt nauseous as hell. And as I was laying in bed, my brain, like my eyes and like when I was looking ahead of me wouldn't stop spinning in circles, and it just wouldn't stop. And then my body, like when your bloodstream is like running or whatever, it felt like the blood in my like veins were like circling with the motion, and it was so weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know what the hell I smoked, but I, god damn, it was crazy. And I was tweaking because it felt like the blood was going away from my body. Like, I couldn't feel blood in my toes or my hands, and I was sitting there shaking violently. So I just got under the covers because in the dark, for some reason, it stopped. And so I was just sitting there tweaking ass until about 4:30 in the morning when I finally started coming down and I felt okay now, and then I just fell right asleep. So yeah, that was definitely the most terrifying experience I've had. It's a short vid for our first one here, but if you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll be posting new videos probably daily. So make sure to stick around for those. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.